It's great if you're curious about your date, but nobody likes to be asked rapid fire questions like they're being interrogated. So if you know that you're highly curious and you like to ask a lot of questions, I'm not saying don't be that way, but be very cautious and pay very close attention to your date. And if they're enjoying answering your questions or if they're starting to feel uncomfortable. Some people just don't have the boundaries to say, that's too personal, I don't want to answer that. And they feel put on the spot when you ask, especially if they're really intimate questions that have no business on a first date. Do not ever ask any kind of financial questions. Like what you do for a living is one thing. How much money you make is completely off base and out of line. And same thing about sex. Any questions about sex, most particularly how many sex partners you've had, is way inappropriate on a date. It's none of your business how many sex partners anybody's had. And I think it's highly disrespectful to ask. And I think people who don't have really clear boundaries, that don't know how to say, I'm sorry, that's none of your business, or I feel like I'd like to get to know you better before I answer that, will sometimes answer questions that they didn't want to answer, and they'll feel badly about having answered them once they're not in your company anymore. And they certainly won't want to sign up to be subject to that again. So make sure that you're finding out, that you're telling your date as much about you as you're trying to find out about them. It needs to be a balanced, two-sided conversation. And if you've been throwing out tons of questions and they're not really reciprocating much, then it's time to throw the conversation back to them and ask them what they want to know about you. And get them talking. And really, or if you ask them a question, then even just volunteer that same thing about yourself. Make sure that you're always gauging the comfort level of your date. And if you're highly curious, figure out the basic questions that you want to know primarily on the first date and save some for other dates. So make sure that you're having fun when you're on a date. Make sure that your date, more importantly, is having fun with you. And if you're rapid fire interrogating them about the who, what, when, where, why, how, every little detail about everything, then they're probably not going to be comfortable, and they're most likely not going to sign up for that again. They won't want to go out with you again. So less is more. Save some things for other dates. And really, ask the basic questions. Where did you go to school? What's your family like? Where are you from originally? What do you do for a living? And take it slowly, and you don't need to explore every little nook and cranny of every topic. Save some of that for later.